In full disclosure, I was working on a different, more complex game for this week's Friday Plays, but there's so much to know about that other game that I ran out of research time. So, just like I've always done with games going back to the arcade days, if a complex game has you overwhelmed, shift gears and play something simple, something straightforward, something like Activision's Spider Fighter. Hey there, welcome back to Gen X Grown Up. I'm John and I am a Gen X Grown Up. Thank you for taking the time to click through to this video. Larry Miller's Spider Fighter, released in 1982, often gets lost in the shadow of Activision's most popular shooter, Megamania. And while it may not be as popular as its big brother, Spider Fighter is a solid offering from Activision that provides just what I was looking for this week. Some arcade-style button mashing in quest of a high score. So let's get after it. So here we are, having just fired up Spider Fighter, and so first thing you'll notice is that it has an attract mode, which gives you an idea of how to play the game. And realistically, I think, to a large degree, if you were someone who just received this cartridge used, or you borrowed it from a friend, you could probably learn most everything you need to know about Spider Fighter, by and large, from just watching this attract mode. It's not that complicated. It is a simple game. However, I don't want to undersell it. There is enough nuance to it that there is some strategy that I'm going to explain to you that's kind of baked into how you want to play the game. And I didn't make any of this up. The author even says right in the manual some of the tips that I'm going to talk to you about that you should keep an eye out for when you're playing Spider Fighter. I want to start with just an overview. The goal of the game is to protect your orchard from all of these insects. So right now you can see up there on the top right are these 3 strawberries, and eventually these little nests are going to try and steal those strawberries and carry them across the screen, which you'll see in just a minute. I'll show you. Meanwhile, in the upper left, you're seeing there are 3 of those little nests. Those are bug nests. So interestingly, this is called Spider Fighter. According to the manual, there are no spiders in this game, or maybe they're types of spiders, you know. But the upper left represents the nests. Those are the main bad guys. Those are the ones you have to look out for. And in addition to trying to steal your fruit, as you just saw one do with that strawberry, they are also the thing that could spawn all of these other bugs, of which there are 4 different types. So before we get into that, let's talk about the options on the game. It's really easy. There are no game options. So game select actually just is the same as a game reset for this game. If you tap game select, it's just going to start the game. So no options. There's no multiplayer. I mean, aside from, you can play a whole game and another person can play a full game. There's no alternating multiplayer. There is a little bit of variation in terms of the difficulty switches. So if you throw the left difficulty switch, you'll go into an expert mode and put that in A versus a standard mode. And I'll tell you what's difficult about that in a second. And then the right switch lets you change between guided and unguided bullets. I think there are 2 big camps in a lot of Activision games, guided or unguided. What's the right way? Most people probably use guided most because it's the default. I can go either way, but we're going to play on the default here. Let's see. Let me go ahead and start the game. We're going to pause liberally here. So there we go. So it started up, and as soon as some things start flying around, all right, I'm going to pause here. So now you can see in the upper left are the 3 nests, including the one that's flying around now is a 4th one. In the lower left are our lives. So you start with 1 life, 1 blaster, 1 bug blaster that you see on screen, plus 4 in reserve. Now you can get an extra bug blaster if you save all 3 fruit at the end of any given wave. And a wave consists of going through all of the nests in the upper left as you work through them. So let me unpause again here and get some more enemies. So in addition to that bug blaster, let's pause. The other thing you're going to see here are spy pods. There are a couple of those on the screen right now. Their job is to tell the master nest to release more enemies. So as long as they're on screen, they're going to keep releasing enemies. If you can destroy them before they spawn anything else, that's all there will be. But, there's going to be more spawned here, so there's more to know. They're relatively easy to kill. They're not really crazy. Their job is to assist the nest. So let me progress a little bit here. You see the pod stopped and the nest stopped. There, you just saw the fruit get stolen. That's what I wanted you to see. Plus, I missed. All right, so we'll stop right there. That crazy looking thing is a stinger. Now, a stinger, his only job, there's one other type of enemy we're going to show you in a second, that's a green widow. A stinger is the worst enemy in the game. His job is to focus on you and try to destroy your bug blaster at all costs. And should you destroy a nest, and there are lots of other enemies on screen, they're all going to turn into these stingers. So try to thin out the herd before you destroy the nest, if at all possible. So let's get rid of him, and then we can see one more kind of enemy I just want to show you. All right, there we go. Finally caught it. Here are a couple of green widows. So
Everything can shoot at you, but not very aggressively. The Green Widows, their job is to actually run interference. They try to get between you and the nest to protect the nest. Now, that one that's on the very bottom there, that's the worst type, because when they get down that low, like you can't see the bullet coming. You can get shot just passing under him. So in general, before I kill the nest, I try to clear out everything else, or certainly clear out anything that's low on the screen. Oh, ouch. Notice the explosion, that boom there is kind of like that Activision rainbow they use for the skyline in a lot of games. Now, interestingly, although your fruit can get stolen, that doesn't end the game or even lose you a life. If you lose all 3 fruit, you just lose all 3 fruit. I should also note that once one of the nests steals a fruit, like this one's about to do, he resets, meaning he can start spawning enemies again. And finally, the last thing I'll mention before we kind of try to do a points run and see how well I can do is that you might notice when a nest first comes out, it has this protective white stripe on it. It's immune to your, what they call poison pellets, your bullets, until after it's released at least one enemy. And you'll see that in later levels. So last thing I want to talk to you about is scoring. And on the basic difficulty, scoring is very straightforward. Let's let that go. Lose the fruit? No problem. They give you some more. Having fruit is just a way to get other bonuses. There are a couple, so scoring then, the nest, let's let him kill me. The nest is worth 100 points. Everything else you shoot is worth 50 on normal game. Also, if you can get to the end of any given round with 4 ships in reserve and all 3 fruit, you get a 500 point bonus. Now, this has happened very often to me. I'm usually living on the ragged edge, but you can. And then I told you I'd tell you a little bit more about the harder difficulty. On expert difficulty, not only does it get more difficult, but as you progress through the fruit, there are, let's see, you have oranges, grapes, strawberries, and bananas. There's a multiplier on those. But if you wanted to earn the patch, Activision had patches, you had to do 40,000 points, but on the standard difficulty. Now, as much as I would love to tell you that in this points run, I'm going to show you what it looks like to get a patch, I'm afraid I might not. Typically, a good run on this game for me is about 10,000 points. It's about as good as I'm going to do. So if I hit 10,000, it's a pretty good game because it gets pretty frenetic for me. But before I do, of course, I want to remind you of our store at GenXGrownUp.com/merch. When you head over there, you'll be able to select from GenXGrownUp Originals or just a slew of other original artists' work that you can get printed on hats or t-shirts or mugs or pins or stickers, all sorts of nerdy gaming and pop culture designs. You can get something for yourself and also be supporting the kind of videos you see here on Gen X Grown Up all week long. We certainly do appreciate your support if you do keep us in mind. Okay, here we go. So Spider Fighter, both difficulty switches set to B, which means guided bullets is the default, also normal difficulty, and nowhere near 40,000 patch, but we're going to do our absolute best and see how well we can do. And I encourage you to try to improve upon what I do and let me know what your high score is in the comments. All right, here we go. All right. Ooh. Gotta watch out not to get yourself pinned in the corner over there. Ooh, a 500 bonus. That's because I had 3 fruit and 4 ships in reserve. There's that white stripe on the nest you might have seen. Ooh. Gotta be careful not to get stuck in the corner like that, like I just did. Sometimes I like to try to let the nest go ahead and start going after my fruit, because when they do, they're kind of a sitting duck. They move very slowly. Oh no! Oh, there we go. Another bonus. That's rare. Now you get 4 waves, which is a set of nests for every fruit. Then it moves on to the next fruit. I think we're just finishing up the 3rd or 4th wave on oranges. And then when it gets to bananas, I think it stays on bananas forever. There we go. Let's see. Whoa! Oh, ouch! Is that rainbow explosion? All right, extra life. Yep, on to grapes. That was the last one. So now 4 whole rounds against grapes. Against grapes, you know what I mean. To protect grapes. There we go. All right, extra life. At least the extra lives come pretty liberally. So I like when you have a challenging game like this, that they make it so that you have a fighting chance to get back in the game if you lose a couple of lives. There he goes. He's going after it. Sit and duck. Whoa! Got him. Ouch! Hate when he's that low. Ah! Almost lost another one. Get that pod. I'm already pleased with my performance because I didn't expect even to get 10 grand here, so if even 3/4 of that is not too bad. I don't know that I've ever made it to bananas, quite honestly. That's the last fruit you get. Ooh. Extra life, 7,800, okay. Oh, I hate leaving anybody down that low. Ooh, lost another life. All right, 8,200. I'm happy I didn't embarrass myself here. Looks like we might actually hit a 10 grand. Whoa, that was, I should have died there. That was hairy. Go. Ooh, 9,900. Let's go. 10 grand. All right. The rest is gravy. I can't imagine as a kid I would ever have gotten the patch in this. If you did, kudos to you. Do you still have it? That's the question. These Activision patches are the kind of thing I would love to collect, but they're just so, like hen's teeth, they're so expensive and, ooh, bonus. And of course they make reproductions. I don't really want a reproduction. I guess unless maybe you could get a whole reproduction set that were clearly labeled as reproductions, maybe, but ooh, still not the same. It's 12 grand, hang in there. Bananas, and a bonus. Now, it will not be any other fruit. Look how much faster it is now. I already died. Look at the rapid fire, how quick it's going. And you need it, because it's not just you. Everything is sped up. All the enemies, all the falling bullets. The banana level is just, it's time for you to die, and they want to see how quickly they can end your game. And I suppose if you're working on a points run, the goal is to get, how quickly can you get to banana so you can start moving fast. See how I couldn't shoot him because that stripes across him? Yeah, ouch, man. It's trying to get me done. Still got 2 lives, 15. Ah, it's just so fast now. This is it, this is the last life, oh no. Oh no, come on. Oh, there it was. 16,200, and I made it to the bananas? It's hard to complain about that, but so you would have to do that and that again and a little more to make it to that patch. So this game is one of those that looks like it's one of the simpler sorts of VCS games, but then when you play it, you realize, oh, who I shoot when and what their jobs are makes it not just a bunch of swarming enemies. It's individual individual enemies that have their own job, and how and when you target them, if you have time, actually impacts your success level in the game. I don't necessarily, I'm not good enough to follow all my advice, but I'm aware the advice is out there, and I know that it's what makes this game have a little more depth than is often given credit for. So, Spider Fighter.
The design for Spider Fighter was heavily influenced by the 1980 arcade game Stratovox. Now in Stratovox, the first video game with voice synthesis, your goal is to keep your astronauts safe from alien abduction. And while Spider Fighter changed astronauts to fruit and aliens to bugs, the don't let your resource get captured mechanic was preserved and yielded another quality Activision title. I cover a different vintage game each week here on Friday Plays, so if you have a game you'd like to see me feature, let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, links to previous episodes here and here. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this episode. I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.